my name is Andrew Trask, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the OpenMined Privacy Conference. The OpenMined team has been working really hard to organize over 60 privacy experts who are going to come talk about how we can achieve a privacy-preserving society. You're going to hear from top privacy researchers at places like DeepMind and Google and Twitter. You're also going to hear from engineers, like the very engineers who are responsible for delivering some of the world's largest privacy deployments. But you're not just going to hear from sort of big institutions. You're also going to hear from the up-and-comers, the startups, hackers, and enthusiasts whose projects are going to be the next big privacy innovation. And beyond technology, you're going to hear from philanthropists and journalists and venture capitalists who are sort of supporting and surrounding this community and providing that next level of both guidance and support towards a privacy-preserving future. And it's really this holistic perspective, right? That is what PriCon2020 is all about. Now, as you know, privacy is one of society's most urgent and important issues. And what we've come to realize is that privacy is being tackled from a huge number of perspectives, right? So like laws are being written, like companies are being started, techniques are being researched, and algorithms are being built. And in this conference, we want to ask a very important question. Are we, the privacy experts in our various fields, like working well together? Right? Are our efforts, amplifying each other? Are we finding harmonies and strategies that make it so that they're more than the sum of our parts? Or are we disconnected from each other? Or even worse, perhaps even tripping over each other's strategies and approaches? And more than just ask and answer this question, we want to create conversation amongst privacy experts, right? Especially the ones who don't often meet, so that we can share our knowledge and build relationships and collaborate on our mission towards a privacy-preserving world. And so it's my hope that as you're in conversation with speakers and attendees here at the conference, that you'll fully embrace two things. So first is that you have a role to play, right? That you have a role to play in the world becoming privacy preserving, no matter who you are or where you're from or how many qualifications you have. That you can find a specific place within the community to help us solve privacy. And at this conference, we've brought together sort of all the information that you could need from the experts who know about this area to help you find your place, to help you get plugged into the privacy community. But more than just understanding that you have a role to play, the other thing that I want you to remember is that you can't do it alone, right? That there isn't like a single piece of technology. There isn't like a single app or a single law or regulation or algorithm that you could make that's going to sort of single-handedly tip the world in towards a privacy-preserving future. And that it's only by us all working together in different fields, or like a regulatory fields and technology fields. And it's only by all this kind of coming together in harmony that we can fully accomplish this mission of a privacy-preserving world. And to that end, you might still be asking, what is that mission, right? Like how are we supposed to accomplish this, and where's the destination? And so in the spirit of helping you find your place within the privacy community, there's also going to be a high-level theme within this conference, which is a high-level framing of what we, the OpenMined community and the organizers of the conference, feel should be the long-term goal of the privacy community, and thus the framing by which you can find your place in this mission. And I'm not going to like defend this particular vision and mission at the moment. I'm just going to present it, and throughout the conference, you'll be hearing various perspectives on why we feel that this destination is the one that we, the privacy community, should be shooting for. So the vision, right? A vision that we think the privacy community is supposed to be leading us towards, like the destination that we're trying to get to, which also forms the new vision statement for OpenMined, is a fair and prosperous world. Okay, and this perspective, like saying that our vision, the thing that we're trying to get to, being a fair and prosperous world, means that we don't think that privacy exists just for privacy's sake, right? Like privacy is not the destination; it's the means by which we accomplish all the other objectives in life and in society that we want to have happen, right? And specifically, we're going to identify two two overarching objectives being prosperity, right? Our ability to gather resources that benefit humanity from nature and from the earth, and understand them, like science, technology, this kind of thing, like prosperity as a whole, right? The sum amount of prosperity that humanity has created, and fairness, which is from the perspective of given that the resources that have been created, how should they be distributed amongst society, right? And we think that these are kind of the two big destinations, right? Where if we were able to achieve a truly fair and prosperous world, that privacy and privacy technology, whatever role that it played, would have been accomplished, right? And now you might be asking, okay, great, so that's an interesting destination, and you'll be learning more about that in the conference. But how are we going to get there? Right? What does it actually mean to try to make progress to this? What's the mission that we should be on that's ultimately going to take us to this destination? And so for that, we also propose OpenMind's new mission statement, which we advocate should be a mission statement for the privacy community more broadly, which is that our mission is to align and incentivize all institutions to only serve the best interests of humanity, right? So align and incentivize institutions to serve the best interests of humanity. Right, and again, as I said, I'm not going to fully unpack this right now. Like you're gonna experience different aspects of this mission and vision as you go throughout the conference, and more importantly, I hope that this mission and vision will actually act as a useful framing, so that when you hear about a specific detail, right, when you hear about a specific algorithm or a specific app or a specific law or regulation or even a specific story about a specific failure that we've had, right, when each person in this conference is highlighting one part of the puzzle, I hope that this mission and vision will be useful to you as a broad framing, so that you know where it plugs in, and more importantly, where you can plug in. Cool. And so now, with that in mind, before I introduce the first speaker, I want to give you a few pieces of context that are going to help you get the most out of your time at this conference. So as far as the structure is concerned, you're going to find that towards the beginning of each day, that things are going to be a little more technical, right? People's brains are kind of ready for it, so we thought we would sort of encourage things to be a bit more technical, a bit more educational towards the end of the day. And as the day goes on, you will orient more towards sort of social impact, entrepreneurship, and awareness. So if you're recommending, maybe friends and family to join the conference, and you think that they might lean towards either group of content, feel free to guide them accordingly. And as I mentioned previously, this conference is about creating conversation and relationships so that you can find your place within the privacy community, and specifically conversation amongst privacy groups that are sort of least likely to meet or don't often get a chance to meet. And so as such, in order to participate in the conversation, as this is a virtual conference, you'll need to be on the conference platforms. Cool. Now, the first one, you're already on. If you're watching this video, you're on it, the video platform itself. And by asking, it's kind of a one-way conversation so far. But while the speakers are streaming, even while this talk is happening right now, I, the speaker, will be available for you to talk to during and after the talk, right? And each speaker who's in their video, you'll be able to ask questions to during the talk inside the chat conversation here. And so you might be thinking, oh great, I'm already here, perfect. But what I want you to do, just to make sure everything's sort of set up right, that you're logged in, you're ready to go, the keyboard's attached, is I want you to type the letter B, right? So the lowercase letter B, which kind of looks like a little thumbs up. And I want you to do two things. So first, make sure it sends, like you're properly logged in. You're not going to need to create an account halfway through the conversation, right? And then make sure you can also see everyone else's thumbs up as well. Like make sure you're sort of just properly using the tool and everything's working as it should. Like the configuration is right, so you can participate in the conversation. Because the last thing we want to have happen is like you want to tune into something and then there's some sort of barrier that could slow you down from being able to participate. Cool, so first things first, go ahead and type that B now, hit enter, and then we'll get on to the next thing, okay? Now the second community is the community Slack. So many of our sessions, especially the hands-on tutorials, but more than just that as well, are going to have dedicated Slack rooms, Slack channels for you to be able to meet other like-minded folks, to get support when you're trying out various demos, and to take advantage of the ability to learn about privacy jobs and other opportunities. And so that you can participate in these conversations, I want you to join the Slack now so that you're sort of already in it, right? So that the Slack is at slack.openmind.org. And each talk that is participating and using Slack in one way or another will orient you to specific channels to join so that you can engage in conversation with the speaker and other attendees during and after various sessions. So that's slack.openmind.org. slack.openmind.org. And it's also going to be the place where conference announcements are going to be given. And so both to engage in interesting conversations during the conference and to help keep up with what's going on in the conference, right now, before you do anything else, open a tab in your browser and type in slack.openmind.org, right? And you can also load it into your Slack app if that's how you prefer to use it. And finally, the third way in which we're going to try to facilitate conversation is the community gather, okay? If you're not familiar with GatherTown, this is the place to engage face-to-face conversations with speakers, participants, and really sort of wander the virtual halls of a conference, which whenever I go to a conference, it's absolutely my favorite part. And so if you're not familiar with Gather, it's a really extraordinary platform for facilitating these kinds of casual interactions, which are some of the best parts of conferences. And in particular, I strongly encourage you to be brave, turn on your video and microphone, and introduce yourselves to people, right? Like don't be afraid to sort of, wander around and say hi, right? But if, maybe if you're not quite ready for that, then just wander around and listen to some of the other conversations that are going on. Be a lurker, absorb everything that you can from the privacy community. And I think you'll find that there will be natural pauses in the conversation where you can begin to become a part of the privacy conversation yourself. Now, I will say there are a few things in Gather that we're also going to do to help you out, help you get into conversations. And some of you might already be familiar with Gather. And even if you are, the Gather team has actually been making loads of new updates to the platform. But we've also gone out of our way to create designated topic spaces for topics like cryptography or privacy-preserving identity, so that you can get to know people who have similar interests to you in privacy. And so when you join the Gather, right, for the conference, you're going to see sort of boxed in areas with a label at the top, and that's how you're going to know the topic is sort of loosely designated for that area, right? If you sort of want to chat with people about that topic, just go to that area and hang out, and other people will be around, right? Now, how do you get into the Gather? Same way as the Slack. Instead of slack.openmind.org, now it's gather.openmind.org, okay? So go ahead right now, open up a tab, type in gather.openmind.org, right? And as you're kind of listening to me finish up my talk, go ahead and add your name, log in, figure out how it works, because it does take a little bit of kind of learning how the UI works, and I'll go ahead and finish this conversation while you're getting set up. And yeah, so while that's happening, sit back, find a comfy chair, a great pair of headphones, some tasty snacks within arm's reach, because now it's time for PriCon to begin. And to kick it all off, we have our very first keynote speaker, Peter Eckersley. Peter is an absolute legend within the privacy community. He was responsible for shepherding some of the biggest advancements of the decade, many of which are sitting inside of your laptop, these privacy advancements in this very browser, like right now. He's got a PhD in computer science and law from the University of Melbourne. He was the chief computer scientist at the Electronic Frontier Foundation, where he led a team that launched an insane number of security and privacy projects. They did Let's Encrypt and CertBot. They did Panopticlick. They did HTTPS Everywhere, the SSL Observatory, Privacy Badger, and in addition to these kinds of projects, they also worked on like policy issues, including campaigning to preserve open wireless networks. I think we all enjoy those, right? And to keep sort of modern computing platforms open, to help start the campaign against SOPA and PIPA, if you remember this a few years back, and running the first controlled test to confirm that Comcast was using forged reset packets to interfere with peer-to-peer protocols. So again, the amount of things that he has seen in terms of successful privacy projects, innovations, and platforms is truly extraordinary. We're very lucky to have him. Even after he was at Electronic Frontier Foundation, he then became the director of research at the Partnership in AI, leading their internal research efforts and supporting external work on a wide range of AI ethics and policy topics. And for me personally, I actually don't think that I would be in privacy technology today if not for sort of seeing Peter's talks and eventually receiving advice, guidance, and wisdom. And he inspired me not only to think that privacy was worth pursuing at all, much less as a life mission, but that it's actually possible to make a profound difference in this area. That you can put your effort in one direction and really actually make change happen. And the reason he was able to persuade me that it was possible, which has led to enormous changes in my own life, is because he's done it. a million times already. So with that said, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our very first keynote speaker to open up PriCon 2020, Peter Exley.